learn after watching the show. In every corner that you see, there is always a lesson that can be seen. A lesson is often taught at school or at home, but sometimes our experiences is the ones teaching us lessons that are applicable not just to us but to others as well. In every story, a moral lesson is always present, and we shall seek for it. In the musical Ang Huling El Bimbo, I have noticed a lot of scenes which gives a lot of moral lessons as well. However, since the musical is a reflection of the truth about life, there is one lesson that stood out to me among the rest. Choosing yourself over someone else's happiness is the one which stood out to me. Due to the choices of Anthony, he made himself live without real happiness, so his life became stressful and chaotic. I know that selfishness is bad. Choosing yourself over the others is viewed as a negative thing by some. However, in the musical Ang Huling Bimbo, during the scene when Anthony decided to marry a woman just because his father forced him to do so, I realized that you have to choose yourself first in situations like that. If only Anthony chose to say no, then he would not have to suffer from the marriage, and the wife would have been saved from hurting. In conclusion, being selfish sometimes can save us from further destruction. Anthony and his wife was not happy about their own marriage because Anthony chose the will of his father. If only Anthony chose what he wants, maybe his father would gone mad. But on the other hand, he can save himself and the woman from suffering an unwanted marriage. Selfishness isn't always bad at all. What do you think is the most heartbreaking scene in the musical you watched and why? Conflict has been present in our daily lives since we can remember, right? Thus, I know that you would all agree that conflict is part of our daily lives. Conflict is what makes our life meaningful and interesting. In a story, a conflict initiates the heartbreaking scenes. In the musical Ang Huling El Bimbo, the most heartbreaking scene in my opinion is when Joy changed her beliefs just for them to survive. From the righteous and positive Joy, she became dull and decided to live in exile because she thought that she was left with no choice. In real life, I believe that what Joy experienced in the musical is reflecting a general truth about life which makes it heartbreaking. Because according to Gretchen Barreto, it's painful when you know it's the truth. When Joy decided to be a drug mule and be a prostitute, her life became dark. Yes, she still had her aunt with her, but they have lost the canteen and Joy lost her friends. If I were to compare Joy to the earth, then Joy have not had sunshine for quite some time. With that, the living things within Joy's heart are slowly dying until they had already had their end. In conclusion, the most heartbreaking scene in the musical Ang Huling El Bimbo is when Joy changed her beliefs, because the moment that she changed her beliefs, she changed into a new different person in a negative way. The moment Joy changed herself, her life became pointless. Then Joy's dreams got shattered in a snap. What do you think is the dominant social reality that can be observed in a show and why? Fiction is often inspired by reality. In the musical Ang Huling El Bimbo, many social reality has been tackled. Prostitution, drug pushing, rape, discrimination towards the LGBT community are just some of what is tackled in the musical. However, the most dominant social reality for me is parting ways with your loved ones and your beliefs in life. Parting ways with someone or something is a dominant social reality in the musical because that is what most of us are going through right now. Since the first lockdown took place in the Philippines, most of us parted ways with our friends and our daily routines. Before the COVID 19, took place, we could hug our friends and relatives. But when COVID 19 arrived, we parted ways from what we often do before. In the musical, parting ways is very evident. You can see Hector, Anthony, and Emma leaving home for college education. Joy and her own boyfriend parted ways too. Joy is said to have parted ways with her mother too since she was a child. Then Hector, Ammon, and Anthony decided to part ways with Joy after their college graduation. After that, Joy also parted ways with who she is before. In conclusion, the most dominant social reality is about parting ways with someone or something. The scenes can justify and prove that parting ways is indeed the most dominant social reality among the rest. If you would look closely, parting ways has been present in both Act 1 and Act 2. It is also very relatable because parting ways is what we have been going through because of the pandemic.